so many persons. I know 2 persons who are out of Cameroon who intend to run as independent candidates for these elections. And in Cameroon, we already have persons like Carol Mbakop, who wants to run as an independent candidate. Dr. Asong, who equally wants to run as an independent candidate. Yesterday, Dr. Apostle Nambe Valentine Ngwa also gave out this information. So this is increasing, and we also hope that so many persons, many more, are going to be announcing in the days ahead. Are we going to see a change in the situation? But for our second topic, we're going to be looking at dirty cities in Cameroon. The Prime Minister, some days back, held a meeting with stakeholders in the capital city of Yaoundé, asking them that he wants to see the city clean. Why have we been living in very nasty cities all these years? We are going to be discussing on these 2 topics with our panelists who are with me in the studio. Dr. Ningwanyam, social entrepreneur, politician, educationist, is in the house with us. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Oh, thank you very much, Leo. Good evening to you, and good evening to our listeners. The topics tonight are very, very exciting, and I hope that we'll get something out of them.
Dr. Michael Ndimacho is also part of tonight's edition of the program. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to all the televiewers of my media Prime TV who have glued their TV set this evening to exchange with us and through their own viewers, discussions, and opinion. I greet you all, the people on Kononi. I greet you all and all the Cameroonians who have struggled to see that 2025 is going to be a better year for Cameroon. And as I always say, there is always a first time. Don't think that because it didn't happen in the past, it will never happen. There is always a first time, and we hope for the first time in Cameroon in October 2021. Good evening to all.
Okay, we have start with you, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam. So many persons are declaring to run as independent candidates in Cameroon this year, even before the elections are caught up. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, and I think the people who are declaring to run as independent candidates are very smart people who are using the expectations of the people to sell themselves. Not that they would eventually be the president or anything. They kind of like just project themselves out of the masses. We are 30 million of us. So in a season like this one, when you pop up your head out of the water and say you want to run as a presidential candidate, independent, whether you know about the laws or not, whether you are going to get the 300 signatures or not, but just the fact that you come out of the waters and say it, you attract some attention, and that probably can help you when you are looking to be elected as a councillor or an MP or mayor. So it's a way of selling oneself.
It's a way of selling oneself. Why don't you believe that they can cause the change? They expect a change in Cameroon?
Yeah, I think
it's only God who knows.
It's only God who knows. But you know what? When we're talking about leadership in a country like Cameroon, let's say that for the past 60 years, the leadership has not been well defined, but starting from 2025 going forward, leadership in Cameroon would be properly defined. And to be the president of the nation, you must have some characteristics that bring to the table, pragmatism, capacity to solve problems, and many. There are so many problems. If we are having so many problems, it's because we have had leadership that has not been tested, and therefore we are saying that going forward, leaders should be properly tested. Leaders should be people who can solve problems. Leaders should be people who can listen to people. I think that kind of leadership where we have a king and the people is no longer that. We have to be pragmatic, just like the guy of Burkina Faso. And therefore, going forward, leaders must be people who have proven themselves and must have a track record. Just talking about it is not good enough.
You give the impression that these candidates just came out yesterday or 2 weeks or a month ago to announce these are guys who may have been preparing for this 2 years without your knowledge.
Without my knowledge. I'm glad you say without my knowledge. Yeah. I'm glad you are saying without the knowledge of the public. Yeah. If you are going to be a president and you are hiding you are hiding.
No, you are preparing. But
you are preparing how? How? Preparing means you have a program, you have a mindset, you have things. You are telling the public, I'm going to be your president. It's going to be like this, like this, like
yeah,
this.
they've just started, but you have to prepare yourself. You put a platform in place. You put your manifesto in place. You put almost everything in place. You read the laws. You understand them.
That's
and
correct.
Look at
Don't
the
forget that.
possibility.
Don't forget that there are 367 political parties who have also been preparing. Some for 30 years, some for 40 years. So we are talking of independent candidates plus 367 who would all be in the party. They are all welcome, but nobody is going to beat the third option.
Okay, Dr. Limanchu, are you surprised?
Well,
Especially that they are young, eh?
of course, the Cameroon of today and tomorrow is the Cameroon of the youths, and we should expect that. You know, we have spoken so much about a country that is ruled by octogenarians, and it appears as if it's a message that has reached the hearts and minds of the youths, and they feel that it is their time to take over. It is like you in a jungle where the lion is utterly weary and is dying, and then you find all the other elements now are dancing right into the middle of the forest. This is what is happening in Cameroon. It appears as if the youths have discovered that those who were there and who were blocking them are already growing weary, and that it is time for them to be able to march up and play even in the middle of the parlor, where they think that the father of the house is almost not in the strength is not more there to do as he usually do. So I think that it's just that. And to say that a lot of youths are coming up too, it is important because the youths have seen what is happening in other countries. Remember, we talked about the Arab Spring, and now we see what is happening in West Africa and all of those where the youths are up. We are being inspired from the powers and the daring, the courage of people like Traoré in Burkina Faso. We are much more empowered and inspired by the daring spirit of Diomaye and Sonko in Senegal, and a host of other countries where you find that youths are actually coming out, and it's as if it is another wind of change. And this time around, it's not about the wind of change, democracy, but it's about the wind of change whereby the youths are actually leaving that phobia that they had behind them, and they are copying the good thing that they see coming from other countries. And people are asking, you know that people have made a mockery of Cameroon, and we have been following social medias and other medias out of the country where people make a lot of mockery about Cameroon, and they are asking themselves, the youths in Cameroon, what is happening to them, that the political scene, the political arena is so lukewarm, and it appears that the youths in Cameroon have been turned to imbeciles, whereby they are just there and they are just like reservoirs. They're just there to receive whatever comes. I think that there comes a time where people hit their hands on the table and say, we have borne so much for so long a time. We got that happen in the USA in 1962 with Rosa Parks. And we got that happen in other countries where people think that, it is too much. It is time that we ourselves take our destiny into our hand, because there is this cliche in Cameroon where they say the future is the future for the youth. And we keep on asking ourselves, the future when is the future going to come? I think that the youth feel that the future is now. Anybody who thinks that the future is tomorrow, or the future is after tomorrow, or the future is next year is lying. The youth of Cameroon have come to realize that future that the old people of Cameroon keep on talking about regarding the youth, that the future is now. And therefore, if they do not dare now, if they do not take the power now, I think that they will not be able to take it tomorrow. And just like Dr. Nick said, some people are coming on stage to be able to actually portray themselves for future opportunities. It is very important. Remember that I have said during this period that I'm discussing with the opposition parties, and I've gotten quite a lot of them that I've conversed with them, I've shared a lot of views. And I said one of the things that I actually call for a coalition in Cameroon is not just really that you should win the election in October, but that if you are losing, lose honorably, because there is an advantage in losing honorably. And I give an example of Cabral in 2018, who lost honorably. He was the third candidate in the last presidential election, and you see what happened in 2020. He was able to grab some parliamentary seat because he got that popularity in 2018. So he didn't go there just to win the presidential election, but he went there to project himself, as Dr. Nick is saying, for the next election. And when 2020 came, with the popularity that he got in 2018, they say, hey, this young man can be something. And now you saw he grabbed the opportunity. So I think that this is exactly what most of these people, it may not just be that they are going there to grab the election in October, because to me, presidential elections are prepared for many years behind. And you may just not just come on the stage and you think that, okay, you're going to grab it. Those who do that are those who do through military takeovers. And therefore, in about 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months are ahead of us, I think that they are just preparing the stage. And it is good. Because one of the things that I love about these young people coming is that they are making the political scene really interesting, dynamic. And it is causing a lot of people to have that zeal. I mean, to have that interest in the politics in Cameroon. Because I've seen from the young people who have come out, like Madame Mbakop Caroline, Dr. Asong, Professor Ambe, who came up yesterday. There has been a lot of exchanges, a lot of euphoria on the social media, where people feel as if the freedom is coming. Remember, as Nijon Fundi came in 1990, and people thought that, okay, I'm coming out from the one-party system, and now multi-party, and Nijon coming with that power to the people and equal opportunity. Now Pobia must go, all those. I think that this euphoria is coming back now, and a lot of people are falling in for it and saying, okay, if this is the youth have decided to take on this power, because they think that they are going to talk about their aspiration, they are going to translate their views, the views of the youth, and they don't believe that a youth will come up and betray them. Of course, many others have betrayed in the past, but I think that especially Anglophone youth, because one of the things I realized about this all is about, Anglophones who are getting much more interested in the political scene in the country, and a lot of things are happening. People are now coming. I've got a lot of people asking where do they register and all of those. So some people feel that they will not be left behind. So everybody wants to get registered. I remember yesterday somebody said, Apostle Ambe, okay, is registration still going on? So we love this, and like we saw what happened in Nigeria, that that zeal should come up. And when that zeal is, and when people are actually taken by that euphoria of elections, you find that actually they will be ready to vote and to defend their vote.
Okay, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, do you see a wake up from the side of the youth? For a very long time, we have said that, okay, they have been clamoring for change, but are not daring enough. Is this their time?
Youths have been clamoring for change, and they will get the change. They have been clamoring for change. Their voices have been heard, and they actually are going to get the change in this 2025. The change in the sense that the system will change. The way governance is done in Cameroon, and most of those structures will change. Trust me. And when that happens, there will be euphoria in this country. And I can tell you that if it happens as I am seeing in my crystal ball, our crystal ball, we are going to beat Traoré at what he does. Trust me.
Yeah. How?
How?
Yes.
See, it's all about pragmatism. It's very unfortunate.
When you say the system is going to change, how?
Yeah, the system is going to change.
How is it going to change?
Did you see that flyer that came out of the presidency the other day with President Pobia? Probably you didn't see it, saying this is going to happen. Trust me, it's going to happen.
We've had all the slogans for
of course, slogans like experience and all those. Well, that's another era, but we are in a different era this time, and we are going through a transition phase. And this transition phase is going to determine a lot of things. The presidency of 2025, with the ministers and so on, will be a transition in which the system of governance, the system of doing business in Cameroon will be switched around, and the power will be in the hands of technocrats and entrepreneurs, many youths, and the youths are going to come forward and be in charge of their nation and take over the nation and make things happen. It's no longer going to be a government run by people from ENAM and professors and so on. That one has failed. We are going to put in place, there's going to be in place a system and a government that is run by entrepreneurs from all over the world, Cameroonians, of course, from all over the world, Cameroon and all over the world, the diaspora, and they're not going to be limited only to CPDM militants. So it's going to open up so that people can come in and really solve the problems, because I think that if we keep doing this thing of my tribe, my party, and so on, Cameroon will collapse.
Yes, Cameroon will collapse, but one may be tempted to say what you're saying is what will be termed wishful thinking. Practically speaking, you think that, okay, things are going to change miraculously. Angels are coming down from heaven to change these things.
Okay, probably you've not seen angels before, but I've seen them. Okay. And then what I'm telling you, trust me. You know, like I was saying on BBC last time, I'm sure you listened to the clip, my clip from BBC. We have three options in this country as of now, and the options are based on the fact that President Paul Biya has not said he's leaving. So as long as President Paul Biya is still going to be in the race, you have only three options. If he said he was not going to be in the race, you could increase your options. But as long as he says he is staying in the race, you have only three options. The option number one is this, that you have President Paul Biya and his current government and all the ministers and directors going in as they are now. They will not, I mean, they could win, but the people are angry with them because they failed. So that is an option that no one wants to hear about, not even me. Then you have option two. I'm a CPDM, don't forget. You have option two, which is supposed to be an opposition leader taking over the nation, but we have all agreed that they are also weak. They cannot come together. Dr. Ndimanche was crying that they are unable to come together and form a coalition because they are full of greed and the selfishness. And when you even listen to them very carefully, even if they came together and put up a candidate, they don't know how to solve problems. They have spent their time insulting President Paul Biya, which is not what it is. Being a leader in Cameroon, being the next president, is not about insulting Biya. It's about showing how you can solve the many problems that the youth have, the country has, and so on. So technically, they are non-starters. So what is the third option? The third option is to craft something that takes a little bit of the old and the new, and then put it on the table, and then, you know, it would work. What am I saying? Like, if President Paul Biya goes in, he's going to win, and he's going to win for several reasons. So we are saying President Paul Biya would win the next presidential elections, but the team with which he's going to work is a new team altogether, a team made of entrepreneurs and technocrats, you know, who would solve these problems. We're going to have ministers who would buy their own cars, ministers who would pay their own rents and buy their own fuel and pay their own house girls, not ministers that we pay for them. So already, and then you're going to have directors who are not just appointed like that. You would, as a director, you would apply for your job, and then you'll be vetted. You will go through a screening process, and if you take the job and you don't do it, you are thrown out. You're a minister, you don't do it, you are thrown out. That nonsense that we've had for 60 years is all gone. That laissez-faire is all gone, and we are saying that starting this year, going forward, is going to be a new Cameroon, and I'm telling you that
you're going to be trial at it. Who is going to institute that?
Well,
because you are very sure that President Biya is going to stay on as president.
Yeah, I told you that I have a crystal ball, right?
Yeah, but who is going to institute these things you were outlining?
Wait and see. I cannot come and tell you everything here. But if I were not sure about it, I would not be saying this kind of thing on television. Okay. You have only the third option and there's nothing else.
The third option with Mr. Biya?
That's what I've explained to you. Okay. So this is how the third option works. We have said, yes, President Paul Biya is granted. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry can see that. President Paul Biya needs rest. Yes, we have accepted. But for this transition, you need President Paul Biya there to have peace in the nation, because there are too many forces and so on. So you need him to sit there to guarantee the stability of the nation, because you don't want to rock the boat too much. But the working machine and the secret of the success of Cameroon is the new government made of technocrats and entrepreneurs. That's where the secret is.
Yeah, but that is what you wish for.
It's not about a wish. It's going to come.
From where?
From Biya, ask him.
Yes, let's stay with the topic, Dr. Ndimanche. When you see the euphoria that is accompanying these announcements of this independent candidate, what does it tell of our position?
Well, it just simply translates the fact that the opposition is fragmented. And before I come back to your question, I really want to decry the fact that Dr. Nick will be saying that it is President Paul Biya who will guarantee the transition, because people are, and that we need the peace for the transition. And I'm asking myself, what peace do we need at this present moment when Cameroon is at war? Does it mean that he's expecting another kind of war in Cameroon more than what we have now? Is he expecting another kind of corruption that will come in Cameroon more than what we have now? Is he calculating another mismanagement in Cameroon more than what we have now? So maybe, as he say, he has a crystal ball, and maybe he's looking at a gloomy Cameroon that will be more than now. If there is a Cameroon that is more than now, then let's just simply say that Cameroon will be hell. It will be inferno. It will be inferno, because there is no Cameroon that will be worse than what we have now. And I must let Dr. Nick know that this is the last stage of Cameroon's gloom and, misery that we are having. That we will not have another Cameroon, that he thinks that we will have another Cameroon that is more than this. Rather, we are going to have a Cameroon that is restructured. And to have that Cameroon is restructured, I don't think that Biya should be there. And that somebody should come up with a strong blood, because the way Cameroon is now, we need somebody with a vigorous spirit, somebody with a energy that is needed, somebody with a high spirit that is needed, somebody with a courage that is needed to be able to sweep, and we say sweep in a real sense of sweeping, without being afraid, and without thinking that, without that power addiction that they have in now. So I really think, coming back to your question, Mr. Kum, I think that the fact that we see a lot of these young people coming is a sign that the center is no more holding. It's a sign that they have realized that the ship is almost being shipwrecked. That the ship is sinking, and that because in the past you didn't see this. And one of the things that you do is that we do, when you really want to let people know that something is happening, the population is always one of those things that come out to shout. When I know in African context, if you really want to shame a witch or a wizard, bring him in public. Let people come out en masse and watch, and then shout at the witch or the wizard. That is when you stop the witches and wizards. But if you want to treat a witch and wizard with an iron fist or whatsoever, it doesn't work. So when you find a lot of young people coming out, it is to shout at the power that be in Yaoundé, to say that really we have had enough of this. Are you not ashamed? Are you not ashamed? Because the youth have come up to the point where they think that.
My question has to do more with the opposition. The fact that many persons are loving these guys who are coming, does it tell that they still love the opposition? I mean, the existing opposition parties.
Yeah, of course, it is indicative, because when I see a lot of people coming, it shows that those who were there, the first hypothesis is that those who were there were compromised, and that they were not able to channel the aspirations of the people, or to channel the problems of the people, or to help in solving the problems of the people. And second, when people feel that you are supposed to be a leader and you don't live up to expectations, the best of the things that they can do is to abandon you. So I think that the young generation that is coming out and is feeding in the opposition bench is to say that the older people should give way to the young. The old generation must give way to the young. And the young coming up with this full energy is to let people know that they want to live with the changing trends. The world is changing according to the desire and the aspirations of the youth. And therefore, why should the youth of Cameroon remain in the same state? Because the opposition have not transmitted, have not lived up to expectation, have not lived up to their promises. If you want to make a panoramic view of the opposition in Cameroon, and seeing, going by the promises that they had, going by the vigor that the opposition had, going by actually the portrayal of what they gave the Cameroon population, to say that they were there to salvage, they were the savior that came to be, and up to now, the same President of the Republic for 42 years has been there unshaken, and going by election results, and we see that he has always won overwhelmingly. Then you actually ask yourself a question: for 42 years, and the opposition keeps on, those who are there keeps on crying each year, and we see them only during the election they cry again and say he must go, Pobia must go, and we do not see them making any move. Rather, they are going down the drain, rather than actually going up. Because I made an analysis here of even the first opposition party in Cameroon, like the SDF, where, of course, many other people, even those in the CPDM, I know Dr. Nim was once an SDF. We actually we got through a lot of the praises that we had for the SDA was on, and the SDA living from 43 parliamentarians in the National Assembly in 1997 to how many today? They have 5. Now you see, and you see the NUDP living with 68 in 1992, and they are about 16 today. So you see that the opposition, instead of actually gaining steam and going on an upwards kind of movement, they are going down. And therefore, when we look at this study and take this data that I'm trying, and many other things that we think should be, we already see that there is a need for a new generation of opposition leaders to come up. You know, every period come up with people. The period that we have in the 1990s during the democracy is not the same period today. Now the same period today is that the generation of today want to be able to tap from what is happening around them, from what is happening in other countries in Europe, in America, and in America. They want to tap from there because the world has advanced so much, even in technology. And the opposition, young people who are coming up today are coming up with something new, which is in terms of, technology. I was talking with one of the youngest opposition the other day, who is Assam, and he was telling me how he's going to use that tool of technology to be able to take the whole of Cameroon. Well, that sounded so juicy and so succulent to hear, even to savor. But then, that is true, but because the social media, the media as a whole has come to change the narrative, whereby you can sit in your room and do a lot of things. But then, even though they may not always, should not always depend on that, but just to say that at least in the 21st century, we have a different dynamics about how to meet the people and how to do politics. It is different from the early 1990s where you have to travel, maybe you have to go to all the villages and all of those. Yes, this time around, go to villages where we don't have social media. That is a priority, even though that is what many opposition are not doing. Because the priority of traveling and going to places, think about those who are not, are cut off from the social media. But those who are around towns, and it is paradoxical that rather the older politicians remain in towns where they can be able to use the social media, which is very, very paradoxical. They are supposed to be going to the villages where these people are cut off from social media. So you find that the 21st century is a different era where the world is moving so fast according to the zeal and the aspirations of the youth, where we are changing from one tool to the other, one technological tool to the other, and it's so fast, like the strike of the lightning. So you will find a lot of young people getting interested in politics because they also feel that the older opposition parties have refused to embrace the changing times, and they are remaining archaic, they are remaining analog. Meanwhile, we are now in the Android generation. So that is it. This is actually the crux of the matter. And therefore, these people think that, see, they can use that technology to be able to put you all here. And it's very possible. It is very, very possible that when these young people who are coming, if they really want to harness their resources and actually their know-how, they'll be able to put this people all here.
He's raising an issue here. Some of you people not undermining the power of what these guys can do, because looks like we are still looking at things from the prism of 2010, 2000s, hoping that things, the game is going to be the same.
The game is not going to be the same. I mean, you know how old I am, right? I'm of the old generation. Yeah. But you also know how active I am on social media. I think amongst people of my generation, I'm the most active on social media. Sometimes people insult me, but I know what I'm doing because I want to catch up with the youth, and I want to cover up for the inactivity of the other old people of my generation. And the social media is actually a very strong tool, and it's relatively free, so you can reach out to so many people all over the whole world for very little, and then pass your ideas. So I would encourage a lot of people to use it, not just for politics, use it for economics, use it for development, use it for education, and don't just use it for silly things. Now, that said, I like what Dr. Ndimacho said about the opposition. It's a dead and forgotten story. Forget about them; they are gone. So and of course he threw a couple of rotten bananas at the CPDM, and we can understand that, But again, the catalog of the failures of the CPDR and its current government is very long. If we are dealing on that, we are just wasting our time. We are looking into the future. And you were saying that we need a strong president, right? A strong president who is young and so on. And what I'm going to tell you is that when you are going to have in place this new government, like I said, President Pobia will sit there as grandpa, but this government that is coming, the president and all the ministers will be 60 travelers put together, so you can be very certain that the problems will be solved.
Yeah, but why are you dismissing the capacity for these independent candidates to cause a change?
Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Nobody is stopping them. Did I stop them? No.
You have been dismissive on
I'm dismissive because
their capacity to deliver.
No, wait. I'm not dismissing them, I'm not minimizing them. I'm appreciating what they are doing for the future. But to say that they are doing that for now is impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Where are there 300 signatures for starters? That is, you don't have 300 signatures. You can sing and go to the moon and come back.
Maybe they are negotiating that through, and
that's fine.
Maybe there are persons who have already promised to append their signatures on their documents.
Oh, then that's wonderful. Congratulations.
How would you know?
No, if they have that, that was great. If they have that, that's great. That's what we are waiting for. It's as rare as crocodile tears. You get what I'm saying? Have you ever seen crocodile tears? That's what you call wishful thinking. I mean,
Dr. Nick,
yes,
you're undermining this.
I'm not undermining. Do you know what pragmatism means? I'm being pragmatic. I'm being real. Otherwise, that's where dissolution comes in, because you keep giving a lot of youths who are not mature enough false hope. Oh, Professor, this apostle wanted to be president. You blocked him. Nobody blocked him. If you want to be, there is the law. Come up with I think it's 30 signatures of this and that from every region. That is the key thing. I don't think even the strongest man of the opposition now, I don't want to call his name, he can come up with those 300. He can't, because there's no way you're going to come up with 300 with 30 signatures from the south. You're a liar. You're not going to get them from the east. You're not going to get them from the center. You will not get them. So I'm just being real. If you get a few people supporting you, that's great, but to think that you have those 300 signatures is as rare as crocodile's tears.
Okay, they may just surprise you next week with them. Dr. Dimachu, what is the implication for this this wave of independent candidates announcing that they're going to run for these elections? Is it the fact that they are now young people are more daring to engage into politics, or a signal to the fact that, okay, these are the new breed of politicians coming up?
Well, there are a lot of twists into that, because in the first place, talking about independent candidates, because this is supposed to actually come in very, very rare cases. When we come to the political, going by the electoral order, this is supposed to come in rare cases, because those who go in as independent candidates are supposed to those who have been surprised by the zeal to get in for election. But when we have quite an overflowing number of them going as independent candidates, we pose a lot of questions. It appears as if people slept and dreamt that the next day they will be the president of Cameroon, and then they saw that time was not yet on their side. And we should have one or two people. I mean, not that we have an overflowing number of people who sleep and dream, in that case in Cameroon, and they are gunning for one presidency. And the second thing is you find all of them, they come and meet together, and they are all independent candidates. Why can't they come together and present one person? Yeah, they are independent candidates, so many of them, and they meet. They do meet. It's not as if one is the east and one is the south, one of that. But I just thought that I see some kind of egoism in that. Permit me say that there's some egoism in that, because if it was something actually truthful, and you get up and find that you can also be able to serve your nation, because serving your nation is not just through being the president of the republic. You can be a push to somebody else to serve the nation. There are people who act passively and they do well, and they push the country forward. You don't see them. You only feel their actions. And therefore, you have this overflowing number of people. I was expecting them to come together and present a single person, let the person go. Not that each person will want to be the president of the republic. Now, the second twist I see into that is that I see that the older politicians are so sit tight on their chairs and on their political parties, and they know that. And one of the things that I've been condemning here all through is that you have an opposition leader who is the founder of the opposition party from time immemorial. He's the same person. There is no rally, there is no electoral they organized in the party. He is the only person till the kingdom come. And that is one of the things, even though I have a lot of respect for the SDF, this is one of the criticisms I gave to the SDF. I usually say that you cannot be a successful person without a successor. If you think that, like the champion of Dr. Nick, that you are the only person who can rule Cameroon for 42 years, means that there is a problem. There is a big problem, a very mighty one. It means that you are very, very careful with any other person taking over you. Whereas administration or service is like a relay button, whereby you run, you go and give the button to another person who continues running. So you find that in the opposition, what is happening, I see that we have opposition leaders who are there for their own personal glory. They have their parties, political parties, which are theirs. They say that they own it. There's that personality court that is going on in those parties. They say, this is my party. You cannot come from somewhere and just unseat me. And that is why they are afraid of organizing elective rallies, because they are afraid that other people will come forward. You see the criticism that we are having with a major opposition party today, the SDF, where other people are condemning that. I heard there's an opposition leader last day, we sat and you were saying that this is a party for bourgeoisie. Then how can you put a level for a candidate to be the to voted president, and they ask for a caution of 50 million? Somebody said, there is no more a socialist party. Well, they have their own point of view, and you see that that party too is defending something that is dear to them. And this is what happens. Democracy is supposed to be something that you are not supposed to have an addiction for power when you are in a democratic party. Because what I see now is addiction. You get power, and then you feel that power shouldn't leave you again. And that is what happened. And that is why you find this cliche that power drunkards and absolute power drunkards. Absolutely.
Dr. Nick, how reassuring, how inspirational is the opposition class? When you look at them, do they give us hope that there are better days? They offer a better alternative?
You know, Mike would accept, would remember this. It's 2 years now I've been saying that 360 political parties would celebrate Requiem masses, right? They would be buried. It's because I could see this trend 2 years back, and I started saying that we have 367 political parties. After the presidential election of this year, all those 367 political parties would perish. They would be buried. And then something else will prop up. We will not have more than 5 political parties. And of course, you know, there are some other small mushroom parties. They make a lot of noise on social media. You know, everybody, I'm a presidential candidate. But this is the time people are declaring their candidacy. Is that how you say it? And then these people who have been, you don't even hear them. So they were singing throughout the year. They are making a lot of noise. But when the real time comes, they disappear into thin air. And then you going here to greet a chief to the left, to the fore. It's not about chiefs. It's about coming on stage and showing how you will solve people's problems. And then you will go, people should, these big parties should rally behind me. You're going to ask big parties to rally behind you when your wife is not even doesn't even carry your party, is not even a member of your party. You see, so we are all clowns, really. So it's so unfortunate. After these elections, there will be only 5 useful parties existing in this country. The CPDM, a renewed CPDM, a renewed MRC, and a bleeding SDF with a little bit more wisdom, and Cabral Libi, and then there will be a basket of crabs. That's how it's going to be. Watch and see. Yeah,
but do they? Okay.
I'm not the one saying they're supposed to be doing their homework.
But now we have independent candidates who say we want to go for elections. Yet we have above 300 political parties who are saying nothing. What then is their use?
Well,
if individuals can tell the nation that I'm ready to serve you.
Yes.
But we have above 300 political parties who are saying nothing.
Mr. Kum, do you know that there are political parties who are formed not to take power? And I said, from my study, you realize that there was a period in this country where people really wanted change. And at that period, was always this mantra, Pobia must go. Now, at this present moment where we are, I do not know what has come or whether it is cursed, they are cursed, or what has happened. A popular mantra now is that Pobia must share. That is exactly what describes the opposition in Cameroon now. They are not interested in taking power. They are interested in sharing. That is the thing. And when Tony said, we saw fine people during the year who make noise, they want to be seen.
Yes.
And when elections are coming, they go into their shelves.
Yes.
Just to let Mr. Pobia say, no, this noise we're making, yes. We just want you to animate the scene. Yes. Please give our own, let us eat and sit us quiet.
Give us something.
This is what happened in Cameroon now. Yeah. So that's why you find that dead silence, where that is why there is this infighting even between amongst them, when you find a party that is growing very strong, yes. The other ones now are putting it down. Yes. They're trying to, because that is the rule they have been paid to play. Yes. They have taken that food and eaten. Yes. In Cameroon, there is an adage. I gave this adage to Voice of America journalist Peter, who interviewed me. I said there's an adage in Cameroon where they say, a mouth that eats doesn't talk. Yes. He laughed a great deal. I said, that is it. They will not give you food and then you are eating and talking. When you are eating, you are quiet. And that is what is happening. And therefore you find these many political parties who are just waiting. Some have already started declaring their support. Yeah, some say they cannot wait. Others will wait. Some are so impatient, very, very impatient. Yeah, they say they cannot wait. No, they want to be the first even to declare. So that when they are sharing, you should know that they were the first. Some even go claiming that they were the first to declare that they are for President Pobia. How is it that they are giving them last? That is the thing. And now, but some will play on because they have deceived some masses, and then they just wait at the eve of the thing just to come together and order what they call the G's. What is the G bank or the G? All those G things, the G thing, voila, and then to declare. And that is why you even quoted President of Kabarebe and Emirati. You know that much of the bruises that these parties they have is from their sister opposition parties. Yes. And that is why we have impression that they may not go. I'm even surprised that you are counting these parties among, because when you find a party that is coming up strongly, they are the opposition parties that help to kill with the machinations of the government in place. We have seen what has been happening. And I'm asking myself how even the MRC and the president will come strong if they even don't go for elections this year. So it is a very, very terrible thing. And that is why the young parties that are coming up, they are seeing them like threats. Because they have been paid to hush other political parties down, they feel that these young guys are too hot-blooded to be hushed down. And therefore they want to use all the means. And the best way that they can do is just to put them aside and then to let them kill their desire, that zeal to be able to change Cameroon as it is. And it is our wish that these young guys who come up, because young people too are very gullible, because given the difficult conditions that we have in Cameroon, everybody, when you see a bag of money, especially money you have never seen, is so enticing, and it is very difficult to say no to money. And that is why we keep on asking and praying that you would not say that you will salvage the people from poverty if you yourself you are poor. I've often said that politics is not for poor people. If you come for politics because you depend on God, you are lying. Depend on God, but don't say that the Holy Spirit has told me. This is one of the things that I say. Don't say the Holy Spirit has told me that I'm going to be the president of Cameroon. Yes, the Holy Spirit will assist you. He will come to your aid. But don't think that you will get up one morning and say, I dreamt, and that God said, I am going to take power in Cameroon. You will go and take the power, because even biblically, those who even took the power, they prayed. They worked hard, prayed at the same time, and then God blessed their hard work. So don't think that you will sit up and then you say that, okay, I am the Messiah of Cameroon, and then you expect Cameroonian now to fall under you, and then you come with empty hands, and then you say, Cameroon, you cannot. Yes. Politics is money. We have over told people that politics is money. Ghana gathered the money. We have seen even in other countries, George Weah, we saw that happen with George Weah, where he had to gather funds, he got the helicopters and went to the hinterlands, and the campaigns he beat was not easy. You know, in Liberia, it was a difficult condition because in Liberia, people, the women had become very powerful. And you know, the war, and the reason was because of the war in Liberia, where the stronger men had been killed in war. And the only women remained powerful in Liberia. And Johnson Sirleaf was the last of those women. And then that got power. And so people believe in women. And for a man now to come in Liberia and beat that Johnson Sirleaf was not an easy thing. He had to gather funds and gather power. And that is the very thing that we want to see happen in Cameroon. That you not just sit somewhere and then go and pray and organize an all night. Organize an all night. Yes, or all night, gather people to come and pray. And then you say, okay, now I'm set. We have even had candidates like that who in the past. I don't want to call name. Who depended that, okay, it is God who has sent me. So we need to be real. You must get closer to the people and know the problems of the people and promise them and tell them how you are going to solve the problems. You will not be an opposition leader who remains in town. You don't go to the hinterland, you don't go to Akwaya, you don't go to Ndu, you don't go to Nkambe, you don't go to Noni, you don't go to the north. And then you just sit and say, I'm going to, you may be your Holy Spirit. You may be popular among the Anglophones. Yes, let us also think about that. You may be popular among the certain groups of Anglophone, yes, but don't think that popularity cuts across. Yes. It doesn't.
Francophones don't know you.
They don't know you. And they even call you, they never know. Yeah. So don't take the little chunk of Anglophones who think about you to think that you represent the national scale or whatsoever. Or don't take the little social media, or those who are connected with your social media, who say, no, this man is a powerful man. And then you think that to represent Cameroon. It is very complex.
Yeah, but we are talking about elections that will take place in.
Can I just say something?
In October, Obama came and he took the nation of America by storm. We saw Obi, who also came by storm. This is a win. Who says that Carol Mbakop may not just come like that? Wind that cuts across Cameroon, Apostle and B cuts across the nation, or Dr. Assong. It is a wind, and when that wind starts moving, it blows through the nation.
Please, no, let me just say something. Let me just say something before we get lost. I'm in politics, and the person who actually showed me how to do it is eminent Christian Cardinal. To me, may he rest in perfect peace.
Yeah, but he was not a politician.
He was not a politician, but he's a wise man. He's not a politician, but a wise man. And there's no school for politics. Now, that said, he taught me this in December 2008. You know, you don't win in politics because you are strong. I'm saying so because you mentioned President Obama. In 2008, I was going to the US, to Chicago, and I stopped by and I conversed with the cardinal and said, Obama had just been elected on November. And here I was in December, just a few weeks afterwards. And I'm older, I think I'm 6 years older than Obama. Yet in my own family, I cannot say a thing. But Obama is just a first generation American, and he wins, a black man. He wins in America. So I was intrigued by that. I said, how did he do it? And the cardinal explained something to me. Obama did not win because he is strong. Obama won because he was on a platform. So it is a concept of a platform. It is a platform that wins. Yes. You cannot win as an individual. It is the platform that wins. Okay? So this thing about doing things solo. No, you cannot win as an individual. It's a platform that wins. And then let me come back to something that you were saying, Dr. Ndimacho, about a moment ago. If you want to be the president of Cameroon or the president anywhere in the world, it's not just about emotions. Go and study the life of David.
On our continent, we know ourselves. Everyone has something they like doing with their connection. There are those who prefer downloading heavy files. Then those who are really influencers on social media. There are those gaming champions who make the best world records from their homes. And those who will always show off their food. Not forgetting those who spend hours listening to latest Mboa hits. For all that, they choose Orange's Super 4G network. That is why we've been here for 25 years. Me and all the teams working all over the country. Nana is here. Orange is here.
Pay your taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. The solution is close to you. Enter an Express Exchange agency, head to the cash register with your tax notice, and make your payment of tax and custom fees with ease. Receive a confirmation receipt. So cool, Mullah. Yes, Mullah. From now on, I pay my taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. It's simple. Express Exchange, partner of the Guild and the Directorate General of Taxation. Express Exchange, #1 in quality service in Cameroon.
Cameroonians will have to wait until they find these qualities of a David in somebody before.
No, they don't wait.
Who
That
tells
means,
you?
so for you to become the president, you start to sow the seeds, in your life a long time before, and people can see the products of your leadership. That's what I'm saying. So who was David? Did David just become a king? No. And where was he? He was looking after the sheep in the pastures and learned leadership there and learned how to care there. And he would fight the lion who would come and steal this thing. He would fight a bear and so on. It is those qualities of good leadership. If you can look after the small that God gives you, then God is going to give you the whole nation to look after. You must demonstrate that leadership capacity, that you are responsible and you can make things happen, that you can take care of something. That is it. Even back in our homes, all right? In our traditional homes and even till today, if I were to die today, if I were going to be dying to die today, I would look through my sons and say, who is the most responsible? Who over the years with me has demonstrated more responsibility? I will say I will give you the cup and say you are my chop chair or whatever. So that's how it works. It is that quality. You must come with something in your hand, something that you are going to use. God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? Is that staff? It is that staff that gave him power, because he was looking after sheep too and so on. If you have nothing in your hand, forget it.
No, if I get it, are we telling Cameroonians that as of now, they have to go back to prayers until God reveals them a David before, we do not trust in ourselves?
No, I discarded that issue of prayers as a first issue even. But let me come to what you just asked. You see, a strong man takes power through the coup d'etat. But political powers or elections are won in a group. Military powers are individual mights. So what we're actually saying is that, imagine a person like Madame Caron Bako, Dr. Asson, Professor Ambe, and some other people come together in a concerted force. Do you imagine what that can be?
Yeah, but
because they should not.
They have just declared. They have just declared their intentions. They have not submitted. What tells you that in the next 2, 3, 4 months they are not coming together?
No, that is the advice we are giving. We are not saying that they will never come together. We are free. We are free minds, and we are just like giving our own modest consultation and advice that this is the way to go. That is why we are here. We are not prophets prophesying something for anybody. We are just mere servants and mere humans who are giving our opinion on the way to go, because we love the country and we love the change. First of all, about what I've been doing the past few weeks, and it was about bringing the coalition together. And I let them know that you should not try to be a strong man for once, because that strong man in Cameroon will never work. Imagine in Cameroon, where these people who come from different areas, because you yourself, you know that in Cameroon, politics is regional. Yes, politicking in Cameroon is regional. Yes. Whereby you find the people of this particular party concentrated here, those of this party concentrated in the region, those in this division, and all of those.
Is that not a key pointer to why they have been failing, but that there is an individual that may cut across all of them?
Not an individual. There is a group that will cut across. And that group must always use an individual, just as they use Barack Obama. People who think that Barack Obama won election as a strong man is a lie. He was inducted. He was in a community. I mean, in America, you are endorsed. That is what happens in America. You don't come over and say, I'm a strong man. Even Donald Trump was endorsed. And if you are not endorsed, you cannot go anywhere. You don't go anywhere. And that is why during the election, you hear that this past president has endorsed this, or this important person that you has endorsed it. This is what the election is all about.
What are you saying? That people should have stayed until a platform comes out to say we are endorsing?
You are not still understand this. This platform is here because we want to discuss a way forward. And we are saying that.
I don't want us to speak in tongues. I
don't know why you're coming back to the same.
You're a very wise
yeah. You know what you're saying.
He's provoking also that the people in the category can get the truth out of us.
You know what I'm saying. The truth.
I want you people to say it in the most simplest way that everybody understands. It's not like I'm not understanding what they're saying. But I want you to say it the other way around. Yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is that Apostle Ambe and all other people have come up, and we're happy that they have come up. The other day, I saw Madame Carol discussing Sustain German, and they were already getting into and they're getting into a platform. This is what we're saying, that they should come together in a concerted and close, honest coalition.
Yes.
I don't know whether I still need to explain the word coalition. That they should come together and join force and present a single candidate, because that thing is a process. And that they should not wait at the nick of time to make a sham that there's some coalition to deceive us. And that thing, since it's a process, it needs to be rule governed. And that there needs to be a memorandum of understanding in that thing. That the memorandum of understanding should cover the period before, during, and after the elections. This is what we are saying. And that Cameroonians are tired of single candidates going alone and pretending to be strong people because they have popularity. And that now, what Cameroonians really want, because I'm saying here as a civil society, and we convince so many Cameroonians to register on electoral lists because we promised them that there will be a coalition. And then what Cameroonians actually need now, you have seen even on the social media, when Apostle Ambe declared, it's kind of, it has been blowing off. And that what they actually need, and many of them, I read some comment, many of them saying that it is good. Now, what the next thing we're waiting for is a coalition. Let somebody initiate. Don't take those hulalas that people are giving you to mean that you are the most popular, and then you deceive yourself to get going alone. You'll be left. That's what we are saying. And that if you really want to go far,
what is the positive implication of these guys coming up to say we want to lead this nation?
I think the positive implication about it is already that, other young people who are about their age or younger will sit up and say, oh, so it's possible. And then the political culture will begin to take up again, because it was dead in the old hands. And then, so as they are doing this, after the presidential elections, you would see that the race for parliament and council will be much hotter, with a lot of young people coming in. And I pray that they throw out all the old people and only young people should come in. People who are tech savvy should come in, so that we can push the nation forward.
Can you use examples to show that the younger generation are making the difference?
Probably, you want me to cite in the country?
Yes. Different countries or communities?
Oh, different countries. Do you know that if President Traore were to stand today as the president of Africa, he will win? He will win. Yeah, nobody will beat him. That guy is exceptional. And you have noticed that, when he is communicating with his community and so on, he doesn't read. He doesn't read. He comes and he tells you his mind. And his mind is the mind of the people. He communicates on that. Le pays des hommes intègres. He's very. You can trust him from morning till evening. So that let us not cite too many names. If all the youths in Africa were to have the mind of Traore, Africa will be the greatest continent in the world from in the next 30 years. We need youths to copy the example of Traore. And I would like again to remind all of us what it takes to be a successful leader or a successful person. And these lessons still come from Christian Cardinal Toomey, where he gave us six things that you need to do to be great. Number 1, he said you must like work. Number 2, you must like work that is well done. Number 3, you must be honest. Honest means be truthful. Number 4, you must have self-discipline. Don't wait for the teacher to be running after you before you do your homework or that. If you have self-discipline, you'll not be throwing banana peelings on the road and throwing dead anywhere and urinating on the streets. Number 5, we have to pray. That means you in unison with God. You and God must be one. You must do things with the mindset of God, not the mindset of Satan or your own. Cameroon has failed now because we have been doing things with the mindset of Satan. Then number 6, you must respect the environment, Mother Earth. So these are some cardinal things that we must do. You must respect each other. So let's put this down in 2 words. You must speak the truth and you must act in love. So this is the kind of leadership we want. We want people who are pragmatic. We want people who have solutions and attack problems in a pragmatic way and so on. Not people who tell us stories for money. If Cameroon has failed, it's because of all these enam people and prophets who sing praises to the president. President Paul Biya did not appoint to be singing praises to him. No, it's not God. Instead of doing your work, you are singing praises. Now the country is in soup.
Okay. The country is in soup. Okay. We just to remind ourselves that we are voting for the best credit union according to our viewers. Keep the votes coming. This one says, my best cooperative credit union is Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. Good evening, my best credit union in Cameroon is Menka Green Valley Credit Union. This one says, I vote Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. This one says, I vote Bamboo Credit Union, and I vote Bamboo Cooperative Credit Union. Miss Anastasia from Kumbo says, I vote Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. Another one says, I vote Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. Good evening, Mr. Hello, the best credit union is Kimbo Police Cooperative Credit Union. My best credit union in Cameroon is Menka Green Valley. This one says Jakiri. Another one says Azeri Cooperative Credit Union. I am Banadzem Collins Kinui. I am voting from Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. I vote for Azeri Cooperative Credit Union. I vote for Banteng Cooperative Credit Union. Okay. I vote for Jakiri Cooperative Credit Union. I vote for Menka Green Valley Cooperative Credit Union. Okay. Keep them. Banteng Cooperative Credit Union. Lucius says that I'm voting for Ayembe Cooperative Credit Union.
You've not asked my own.
So you are going to vote at the end of the program. Yes, Doctor, we're looking at independent candidates, and for you, they should gather to present a common force. We hope they get your proposal to make sure that this works. But are you also being frustrated by the fact that till now we do not have a veritable opposition front? Because now we are really talking to those who have declared that they want to go independent. You say they should form a coalition, but the existing opposition parties for the past 30 years, they themselves, it is true that there is one around Nabasa Muna, but that at that level, we've not seen a veritable coalition.
Yes, of course. Every Cameroonian is frustrated. If someone says there's not frustrated, there is somebody, the person doesn't want change. And I don't think that there's any Cameroonian at this point in time, even those who are in the CPDM and the progressive CPDM, who doesn't want change. I think everybody wants change at this point in time. And even Dr. Nick, the chairman of Progressive, says that there will be change in 2025. May change is something that is constant, and that nobody should claim that one thing should remain there over and over again. So even in words, when you repeat words, people don't like it. They call it tautology, because people don't want that you repeat one and the same thing. And people eat food and eat all the time. They say they are going to have constipation on this because nobody wants to repeat the same food all the time. But I don't want those who use it to and allege in other areas of life. But I'm talking about anyway. So we are disappointed that up to now, for over 30 years and running, we do not have a concerted opposition to count on. Rather, you find opposition that are dwindling. And we're asking ourselves, are we growing? We're coming in other countries where we actually have opposition that are nurtured and are maturing by the day. But we have in Cameroon opposition that are dwindling, even those that we thought we could count on. And I will also say that sometimes it is not dependent only on the opposition. We have this divide and rule kind of a thing that we have times. But then, like somebody said, you cannot come to somebody's house and divide the house if they have the intention to divide. This is one of the things. And when we even blame the issue of divide and rule in the opposition, it is because the opposition parties and leaders themselves have divided minds they have divisive tendencies. That is why somebody comes and divide them. Because and now this shows that they form parties for different motives. Because when you form your party for a different motive, of course, you are going to be met by the motive when actually the opportunity comes. Like those who form parties because they want to have money. If you form a party because you want to have money, just know the money is going to... Because I've seen that most of these parties, what divide them is the issue of money. Most of them are not out to salvage Cameroonians from their problem. So now you see that we have had even some attempts to a coalition. You know about the APC that had to come together of Oliebile, Ninche, and FC. They had to come together. Of Ninche, they had to come together. And you know what the Minister of Territorial Administration said? We do not recognize you of the coalition that you are trying to form. So you find that this arbitrary called the Minister of Territorial Administration sometimes is also a cause of concern. And now you see what is happening in the Emirates. I don't know about that. So, really, that is one of the issues that the opposition is facing.
Okay, yeah. Thank you guys. And we are moving straight to our second topic for tonight, which has to do with dirty cities. And the Prime Minister, head of government, His Royal Majesty Dr. Chief Joseph Diangute, had a very serious meeting with all the stakeholders, the ministries in charge in Yaoundé, as well as the different arms, municipalities. And he was bitter and actually says he wants to see Yaoundé very clean, reflective of a true capital, political capital, because that is also where all the embassies are. This is where the diplomats come visiting, and many tourists. The face of Yaoundé today has very little to be desired. And you live in Douala. What are your impressions when you go through the cities of Douala and down to Yaoundé?
It's just so unfortunate. Even before I delve into it, I thought that there's one minister, a junior minister, who told us that there are no potholes in Yaoundé, there's no dirt in Yaoundé. I don't want to call his name. So you see, it already tells you that you have ministers who are telling lies. So when a minister is telling lies like this, what do you expect? So President Paul Biya will give them the power, give them the money, they fail to do their jobs and so on. So if we are in this shit, it's because we have people who have just been lumped together, who have no sense of responsibility, who tell a lot of lies, who just sing praises to the president and think they can get away with it. And, you know, we are in this mess today. When I was coming to the studio, I was wondering which other country has cities that are as dirty as ours. I mean, take Côte d'Ivoire. I don't think Ivory Coast. Abidjan is as dirty as ours.
They're very clean.
They are very clean. And you know, this thing about dirty didn't start today. Many years ago, I remember, I think it was Issa Chiroma saying that they had to take a plane to go to Senegal to find out how they treat waste in that country. And still at about that time, there was dirt, and then they said that it was the Bamilikes and the others who were bringing dirt to Yaoundé. So, yeah, I remember all those things. So technically, we have had an issue of dirt, but we have refused to solve the problem in a pragmatic way, in a way that shows that we've got some brain. So there's no point having universities and professors and so on, and so many ministers. How many ministers just to look after towns? You have. So what is the point having ministers? What is the point having governors
and councils, the city mayors?
You have a city mayor. You have in one town like Yaoundé, I think you have up to 6 other mayors, and yet the town is so dirty. What is the point having people just go around in coat and tie who cannot clean the city? So we've messed up big time, and I'm so ashamed of all of us.
Yes. What is the problem? Dr. Dimancho, for the Prime Minister to say we want to see these cities Yaoundé clean, for so many years we've been talking about it. Is it the problem of political will, or the fact that we are placing priorities on other issues and not necessarily to keep the cities clean?
Yeah, it is a problem that even goes right down to the roots, and it is not just a superficial problem that you think that you want a clean town, because that problem of the dirtiness, of course they call it urban disorder in one way. The dirt, the filth in town has lots of causes. One of the things that you'll be thinking about is the reason why there is this encroachment to the roots, where you find that a lot of people build closer to the roots, and that is the first thing that happens. And now you find that markets are only along the roadsides. And then you are asking yourself, why is it that markets are only along the roadsides? And now, even when they are along the roadsides and there is a demarcation on how people should sell, you find that people encroach right to the road, and they even block the road. Now, there are reasons. You know, the towns in Cameroon, especially Douala and Yaoundé, they are towns that are growing every day in terms of population. We have to recognize that. Cameroon is in crisis. You have a lot of people getting to town each day of the week. A lot of people. And as lots of people get into town, you should expect that more care is supposed to be given to the towns. This is one of the things that we should have to recognize. Secondly, poor drainage that we have around. People build, that's why I talked about disorder. People build the way they want to build. You have people who are supposed to do their jobs who are not doing. Cameroon is so corrupt in such a way that you find construction is done in a very, very disorderly manner, but people come behind and take money. And it is not controlled. So there are a lot of things that get into this. A lot of disrespect that happen because people are saying, we do not have food to eat. Just let us live our lives. No matter how we live it, no matter how we date the towns, if people just want to live their lives. So it is a problem that is deeply rooted. Secondly, you have what they call a Zakam. A Zakam is not fit to take care of the towns of Cameroon. Because each day and night you hear a Zakam is on strike, unpaid salaries. You find that they're down their tools. And dead piles up. It takes a decision maybe from the Prime Minister or from Yaoundé for a Zakam to start. I don't know whether when the decision comes, it comes to money. But you realize that a town like Douala, imagine a heap of dead stays in this roundabout just for 2 days with the number of people who live in this quarter. They are overpopulated in the first place. There is no breathing space in Douala and Yaoundé because the quarters are overpopulated. And as they are overpopulated, this is how huge debt is being smeared around the places. So we have the problem of overflowing population. We have the problem of people's irresponsibility, especially those in power and those who are responsible for debt disposal who are not doing their job. Well, we don't want to get into the details why they are not doing their job, but we just want to know that somebody is not doing his job. Now, and then you have on control, I don't know, we have town planning. And some of these places they call the market, because when you talk about these fields, I must tell you, much of them is around the marketplaces. Just go to Bonomosadi market here, which is at the center of Bonomosadi. They used to say, when we were growing up, we heard from songs that Bonomosadi was one of the cleanest towns in Douala. But you go to the market here, it's one of the dirtiest towns that you have around. Why? Because you find on a typical day, people sell right to the road. Those who are running the poultry, they are there at the roadside. Those who are selling bananas, plantains, and all those things, they are at the roadside. And that is how they smear the places. And nobody in living thinks that is supposed to carry the waste. Because they know that there is a company that is in charge of disposing of the waste. And that company takes its own time to dispose of the waste. So if the Prime Minister hits his hand on the table, I understand the Prime Minister knows where the problem is. That there is somebody who is not doing his job. And that is from where he is supposed to tackle this issue. There are these ministers. He's the Prime Minister, the head of government. He knows about the Minister of Urban and Dr. Lee said there are a lot of ministers around of this of town doing nothing. So you have the Minister of Town Planning and Urban Development. You have the Minister of what again, who is in charge of all of environment, who is also part of parcel of it. You have the Minister of Health, who is part and parcel of this. Territorial administration, of course, is not only about locking the churches and all that. He also needs to be thinking about debt because it's important. It's important that he thinks about that. Because when we hear cholera outbreak here, the Minister of Health is supposed to be implicated. That, okay, all of this is because of what is happening around the area. So we see that there is a chain of ministers or people who are supposed to be conscious and conscientious about their duties, and they have vehemently or either meditated or premeditatedly abandoned their duties. And therefore, the Prime Minister, he is head of government, right? Isn't the Prime Minister rehabilitated with the powers to call a minister and tell him that? Do we need to hear from the media or announcement? That is the question. And who capital to discuss that issue and say that he decided on the table and said that I don't want it. This has to be regulated. I don't want to see this any longer. That is his rule. He's rehabilitated to carry out that duty.
Okay. Now, the issue, a culture or what? Because these ministers are there in Yaoundé.
Yeah.
We have the respective municipalities. Are they putting the money into something else than taking care of Inod? Why not, if we think that Izakam, the hands of Izakam are tied, why not create
more?
Why not create more companies charged simply with cleaning the city? Is that not also an area for investment?
Yes.
Call for Cameroonians to get into the sector.
Yeah, like I was telling you about the government of technocrats and entrepreneurs. When that government comes in place, they're going to decentralize this cleaning of things, and we are going to, they're going to employ a lot of youth and create many companies to be taking care of this waste. And we are going to also do in such a way that waste is processed.
Are you going to be part of the
no, did I not tell you that you win on a platform?
Okay. Okay.
When I say we, me, it's the platform, it's not a man. Now, it's that concept. And I think you were asking a particular question. We have a culture of dirt in us. That's for starters. We have a culture of dirt. So you can see somebody who is a minister because he wears a nice shirt and cap because he's a minister, but in reality he has a culture of dirt in him. If he has a culture of dirt in him, he will not clean the street. He will not come up with something to help. So when you grow with a culture of dirt, you will die with it. And you know that in our schools of West Cameroon, there was this thing called hygiene, I think hygiene and sanitation.
Yeah.
That concept of hygiene and sanitation does not exist in other parts of Cameroon, but it used to be a very strong culture. And you know the culture of sanitary inspectors. I'm sure Dimacho is old enough to know. This sanitary inspectors.
Yeah, we were going around. If your toilet was not the prescribed manner,
that is going to come. So we need to come to those basics where we start with the individuals and homeowners and so on, and grow it so that it becomes a national thing. So you see, like they were saying that they don't have money. Give these people all the billions on earth. You will have the town will still not be clean. We had a lot of billions, but they have the stadiums been built? Nothing. So we had a lot of billions for COVID. Nothing happened. So it is not money. It's a culture where we don't know how to be. How do you put it? We don't know how to do things properly. We just, when there's money, we kind of like just dissipate it, and the problem stays. And we never learn from the past. We just keep, reinventing the wheel and so on. And before you take back the microphone, let me just cite two things that I remember from a very long time. I remember in 2006. I was working as a medical doctor in Betua, and I came to Yaoundé at some time. I'm sure you know CHU in Yaoundé, right? There's that Soutouk bus stop in front of the gate entering CHU. And something, I still remember it very well. There was a pile of dirt that was sitting there, 1986. And the dirt had been sitting there so long that a grain of corn had germinated on that heap, and had a cup on it which was ready for harvest. It tells you how long the dirt had been sitting there in front of the entrance into a hospital. And recently when I came back, it's a couple of months ago, I went to visit CHU and QS where doctors are trained. If you can, go and check their environment and see how the environment looks. If you are training doctors in an environment that is as dirty as that, what are you putting in their minds? So we have a culture of dirt. We just want to pass exams, but we don't put the knowledge to use. If you are training nurses, doctors and so on, it starts with cleanliness. If you are going to train people with PhDs in microbiology, public health and so on, if you are not going to have clean streets, then there's no point to do all of that. So we are learning and just getting head knowledge, and we are not applying what we have learned. So we need to do something about it. The dirt is reached a level where, anyway, the third option is going to solve that problem.
Okay, the third option is coming to solve the problem. Dr. Michael and Dimacho, what practically should be done to get a typical city like Douala clean?
Okay, I think that there are some practical things that should be done, because sometimes we only depend on blaming the government in one way or the other. In our Anglophone zone, we used to have what we call clean-up days. Yeah.
But
Now I'm coming to that. We have Thursdays here in Douala. Yes, that is supposed to be a clean-up day. Do you know Thursdays are days for sports and days for pepper soup for people? People go to work. They know that on Thursday they go to work at 10 o'clock. For them, from morning to 10 is their rest periods. They go for their sports. They go for a pepper soup. We go for those. But in our Anglophone zone, it wasn't like that. You were obliged to do. The sanitary inspection came around.
It was in those days.
There was law enforcement.
No, it was in those days.
Why do you talk about law enforcement? That's why I was saying that those good habits should come. Does the case so they should come back?
Does it happen today in Bamenda? Even before the crisis, I know that there were days like that, but everybody just locks up.
But do you know that now that is a habit that has been inculcated and has become part and parcel of the Anglophones? Would you go to your village in Womb? Yes, in Womb. And you find it, I mean, even your mother, a frontage dirty. It is something that is a reflex for them. They know that they have to keep their frontage because that's the practice that Anglophone grew up to know. They know now that their toilets are supposed to have some standard. Because during the time of sanitary, they go right into your toilet and they tell you this toilet is and you pay the fine.
So when Dr. Nick said that Minister Issa Chiroma was saying that they should go to Senegal. Senegalese are they Anglophones?
Okay, now the issue is people are
Senegalese Anglophones.
People are always looking for ways to chop money. Do you know that there is a parliamentarian who is still in the National Assembly of that side of Caribbean? I don't want to call his name. Who actually openly said in the assembly that the Anglophone zone is the cleanest zone in Cameroon because he has visited that zone and he can testify that the people are very clean people. You didn't need to go to Senegal to come back and then know that Anglophones are very clean people. Why? It's an issue of a culture. The culture of the people where they think that, there is a saying that cleanliness.
Are you not stigmatizing some people as
this is the truth that we have to learn from, and that is what is keeping Cameroon where it is today. Because when you want to bring that comparative kind of an argument, people think that you are like you are so derogatory towards them, and it is not. It is something that we have to learn from. Is it a new thing that
because in this clean city stuff, I hear Bagante is clean. Bagante is in the west.
Those are chunks of.
We have Sangmalima that
you are talking about Bagante.
I hear Sangmalima is also very clean.
Okay, we will have expected. Bangante, the former mayor of Bangante, is the minister of urban planning and town now. Who is in charge of this data? Is supposed to be
she pumps in all the resources necessary.
That's the thing.
No. That was when she was mayor there.
That was when she was mayor. She was mayor there, but now she's the minister of cleanliness of the town.
Yes.
And we were expecting to see better town, and that is why she was appointed. Maybe you don't know, because she was exceptional in Bangante, and Bangante was a clean city. That I can testify. And we thought that as she's coming and taking out the realm of the nation, now she comes and asks a question. So we let us be very, very practical about what we are talking about.
Pragmatism.
Yeah, we should be pragmatic. We should not be afraid to say the right thing as it should be said.
Because the nation needs to be corrected.
The nation needs to be corrected, and that's what the Third Republic is waiting for.
Yeah, the third option.
Whatever the third option is, I don't know about. But I'm talking about the Third Republic, where I know that it is coming very soon.
Yes.
And that we need to be able to educate people. There should be law enforcement.
Yes.
Even you find part of this field around is by true drinking spots that are littered all over.
Yes.
You find somebody just come out, nobody cares. There is nobody to hush you down.
Yes.
I remember in my school days where one of my friends came out to urinate around the building, and the discipline master came out and said, "Hey, you put back that thing." And the guy had to put it back and finish the thing. This is the kind of law that we want. Then you find somebody doing what is wrong, and you hold the person and tell the person you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Imagine in town, I've seen a lot of people. They eat maybe
granules
and all of this,
and just dump out of the car.
No, from the taxi. Someone just
on
the roadside. Oh my God! Or you find somebody who says around a gutter,
and then he puts it in the gutter.
He sweeps everything into the gutter. I have heard so many people about that. there.
Yes.
And I've created problems for myself
Yes.
in so many occasions because of
Yes.
that. How can you just sit in front of a hole and then just sweep everything
And
sweep
push inside the gutter.
inside the
And
gutter?
force it inside the
And I
gutter.
ask you, do you know where this debt is going to end? Look at the kind of plastic bottles that we have around there. You just dispose. There's, I mean, it is now being said that the plastics that have gone into the sea can fuel 3 countries. That when you, I mean, the high oceans, the
Yes.
plastics that are in the high ocean
Yes.
can cover 3 countries in the world. Because a lot of things are just getting and causing damage to the environment.
Yes.
We need to correct these things. You don't only need to be somebody who works with sanitation or a ZACAM or the ministry to correct this. If each and every one of us take the responsibility, you go to quarters where people build houses without drainage. Nobody cares. I have called the attention of many sanitary in the Douala Pipe to come and see what is happening in my quarter, where somebody actually, I mean, premeditatedly and conscientiously drains the thing out.
The toilet.
No, toilet out. No, right as I'm talking to you now, the thing is fluid.
Yes.
They're out.
Yes.
And when the guys they come, the guy calls them behind and gives them what he's giving.
And they go.
And they go.
And the problem is left.
The problem is left, and the people in the quarter are suffering. So these are some of the things. All of us must take active roles, proactive roles, in order to end some of these things. And there must be a will from the authority. It is just like you seeing a crime somewhere, somebody commits a crime, and then you go to report, and then you are now the one who is incriminated, because now the authority that is there now connives with the thief or whosoever, and you are incriminated.
But these points are identifiable in the city where people are called upon to come and dump their waste, their debt, right?
Yeah.
But now they make that effort to move from the quarters to dump them there, and they're there for weeks.
Yeah.
You still blame them for that?
Well, let's say that because of corruption and poor way of use of resources are really wasted. And like Dimacho was saying, Izakam, that monopoly should be cracked, and it's going to be cracked. And the third option is going to form a lot of groups of youths. You know, every subdivision, Douala has 5 subdivisions, right? So we can have, let's say 3.
They have 6.
Okay, let's say
6 divisions.
if there are 2 or 3 small companies by youth in every division to take care of, and then we forget about Isaka and give them their portions, and then give them what it takes to manage that waste. The town will be clean. And another thing that I should say before we run out of time is, you see, there's a lot of congestion in town, and this congestion can easily be handled if we do what is done in Dubai. You see, like if you go to along the streets, Bunaberi, or you go to Aqua, you cannot park your car because people selling cars have occupied all parking.
So urban disorder.
That's urban disorder. What we need to do is, you know, a car is not like buying bananas or a shirt. When you want to buy a car, you go to where cars are sold. So we need to go to a place like Japoma, where at the new stadium there, and create a car market there. So all cars should go there, and then the cars that are in the Douala area, we go to that, you know, those palms behind there. I don't know how that area is called. You know the weighing station.
Towards where?
At the Bikoko Junction.
Bikoko,
yes,
Dubai.
Yes.
There.
So if you're coming from Limit to town, as you get to the weighing station, there is to your right down there those palms. We can create 5 hectares of a car market out there and move all the cars there, so that all that congestion is taken care of, so that people can move freely and so on. And then we make sure we fill potholes and all that. We need to, and then of course, build markets, standard markets everywhere. So you cannot, in this day and age, in cities, you are putting, you know, people urinate a lot and then you come and put food, vegetables, fruits on the ground where people have urinated and defecated. We need to do something about it. It's very shameful.
Also, there's issue of recycling of waste. Why can't we develop structured companies
to recycle?
They recycle the waste. And so that we should even, especially this plastic that we threw around.
Yeah, but when authorities, what is difficult for the respective councils to take care of their respective municipalities? Douala, we are in Douala 5, there's Douala 6, 1, 2, 3. Why can't the councils themselves not at least even take care of the markets, make sure that where food is sold is clean?
No, of course, they will tell you that they are trying their best and that there is a lot of disrespect from the population. They will tell you that. But as I can still say, it is the role of the council. Even when they talk about the issue of decentralization and that they don't have some powers to do certain things, I think it's the role of the council. But then you should not forget that there is also this administrative bottlenecks thing that it will always be, even though the councils are rehabilitated to do certain things. When you come to Bonomusari and you find all of these, there are these green spaces that were left open. And
they're
now,
selling. Almost everybody.
They're selling them.
Yeah.
So
Do you know that there was a wrestle between the minister in Yaoundé and the Douala 5 mayor? And the thing even went on radios, on the media, and they said the minister has said they should stop. Okay, they made as if it was a ministerial order. Within 1 month, they took the building took a kind of speed. We started asking ourselves, but they said, and there was a communique. I read it. That the minister said those works should stop. After 1 month, we saw those buildings sprouting like mushrooms. And then we asked, but what became of the ministers? Somebody looked at me and just laughed and said, Mon frère, tu ne connais pas le pays.
But can we also say that people are not investing as much into making the cities clean, leaving this green space, because our municipal authorities do not have long-term visions for their respective municipalities, because all they think about is
themselves.
Make as much money as you can before you leave. Whatever you leave there is the problem of the people.
So it's an issue of responsibility. It's an issue of having a mindset of the common good. As long as you don't have the mindset of the common good, you never do things in the right way. And if there's anything that hurts Cameroon and most third world countries more than anything else, is the fact that we are not brought up to have this concept of the common good. And when you are asking about that common good, you need to shelve off this selfishness and these ego things and so on, and look at the general interest. If you have a mindset of the general interest, and you have actually grown to love not just yourself but love your brother like yourself, then it becomes easy. But when we have grown in a culture of me, I, and myself, then it's terrible. That's why you see ministers who steal a lot of money from projects and keep for their families, and their families can eat can have food for today, to the 10th generation, but they don't care about the rest of the people. So until we correct this mindset, we are not going to have it right. And I think another reason why the towns are so dirty is that there is this fight. I'm sure the law has done something that is not right. If we come to a place like Douala, I think every subdivision should just have its mayor, and we leave it like that. You have that concept of a super mayor. That super mayor is treating the other mayors as if they were his house cooks or something like that. And there's this fight in between them. When there are potholes on the road, because there's a little budget, the big mayor says, I'm the one to repair it so that he can have something for himself. So the debt is also there. We don't know who is doing what and so on. The big mayor is responsible for the potholes. He's responsible for the debt. He's responsible for the building construction things and so on. And the other mayors seem to be responsible for nothing.
Yeah, just to credit what Dr. Nick is saying, if you know my office down at Petit Terrain, there is a place where they want to be a washing point in front, just Soreko, above Soreko there. If you go there, you see they are broken everything there. It's because the Douala 5 gave out that place to someone who paid a lot of money to Douala 5. Now the super mayor came to and brought his big boys to they came and broke down everything. So as you are saying, the fight is a big one. So you don't know who is supposed to do what. That is where the problem is. Now it appears as if they do not have a job description. The super mayor, well, they call him the super now. So he's the one to dictate everything that you're supposed to do. It means that if you want to fix something in the market, the super mayor must know. And then what is now the role of the mayor? If we come into that perspective. So you find that all of these things are political. They are not there to assist the local population in their growth, in their sanitary, in their health, and all of those. They are just there for the political reasons. Because, as you say, what is the use for a super mayor? What is even the use for 6 mayors in Douala? What is the use? When you go to Bamenda, they have how many councils? How many councils in Bamenda? 1, 2, 3, or something. What is the use of all that?
It's no use.
What is the use of all that? Look at the Simpsons in the United States of America. What is the use of all 5 mayors in Douala? So these are some of the things that you find that it's all for political reasons, because people want to eat. And because they want to eat, the population ends up paying more. People keep on being impoverished. Because services are not delivered. This is what is happening, and that is the way forward. Actually, is that Cameroon should become conscientious, as we were talking about the Third Republic, the third option.
The third option now.
A lot of these things are going to be. I learned Dr. Need talk about a NAM will be banned, NAS will be banned, and all of those things. I think that we have created, even the amnesty 67 ministries, 60-something ministries.
We don't need more than 25.
We don't need more than 25 to do what with it. So those are some of the things that we have to do if we have to emerge.
But you started by saying that, okay, the population is growing in our cities. Because people are rushing in from different parts of the nation. Yeah. But we have far bigger populated cities in Africa which are clean.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that
it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Everything that we are talking about is a mindset. You know, I had something in my mind I wanted to say before. Oh yeah, before I go to Cairo. You see, let's look at what our councils are doing. They are more interested in trapping cars that are wrongly parked, or sometimes not even wrongly parked, because there is no, if you go around, there are no signs which say don't park here or park there and so on. They don't exist. You just need to park somewhere, and those boys come and carry your car to make money. One gets the impression that they love making money more than doing their jobs. So it's so unfortunate. Back to cities like Cairo. I mean, you see, all of Egypt. I think it's a very small percentage of Egypt that is arable. Everything else is sand. And that Egypt, as it is, grows more food. I saw somewhere, I've forgotten the statistics, but when you see the food that is coming from there, they know what to do with the little they have. But we are so blessed in Cameroon with so much, and then we misuse everything. I think what is bothering us more than anything else is irresponsibility. From the day we start being responsible, we say no, we don't have resources, we need money, we need all of that. It's not about money. You can be given all the money in the world, but as long as you are irresponsible and you don't care about the common good, nothing is going to change.
I wanted to also come in terms of, you said people flock and there are other countries where people come, but we still have clean cities. There is also the issue of town planning. And housing too, it forms part of the town planning. You remember, there's this thing they call the sick houses and all. You know that those 6 houses are individual houses, and whereby I know 6 houses was for the poor of the civil servants, those who didn't have high income. And you realize that now that, I mean, since the government was not more paying for what it had to pay to the sick, they started auctioning those houses. So you find that there are countries whereby there is utterly town planning. And the way and people respect the way it's supposed to be. But when you come to a country like Cameroon, where the richest person has the knife and the cake, as long as he has the connection in Yaoundé to do whatever he has to do. Sometimes you go to a certain place where someone is building a house, and then you ask yourself, there is a place just beside Chateau Barberi, where there's a big house that they are building there. I don't know who is building. I hear that it's an individual who is building. Just as that Chateau do, there's a house there. A big complex. A big complex. A supermarket. Exactly. And it may be a supermarket. Can you imagine setting a supermarket in that kind of a place? No parking. No parking. It's just close to the road. Ask me, are you sure that actually it is the town planning knows about that thing? And it's a very mighty complex. It's not just a small thing. It means that it's going to be a commercial center. Then imagine what is going to happen at that particular place. So you find that the highest bidder in Cameroon gets it all. Yeah. And that is what is happening. Until institutions supersedes individual earnings and means in Cameroon, we will never get anywhere. People do that because they know they have the connection, they have the people who
they can get away with it.
They can get away with that. So we are longing for the Third Republic, whereby the institutions will supersede all of those.
No, okay. you are covered. The third option is coming. I don't know where you are seeing the Third Republic from, but he's talking about the third option under the same Republic. We are now once again going to be listening to the...
did I vote? You said I was voting.
Somebody voted for Tundip already.
For Tundip?
Yes, Tundip Cooperative.
No, I'm not talking about Tundip. As the credit union, I hope all of you know as the credit union. If you see St. Louis as big as it is, all that money comes from as the credit union. And they have been supporting
you. Pay for that advert. You pay for the advert.
It's not about you are asking for the best, not so. And I'm just saying why they are the best.
No.
You pay for the advert.
Extra advert for them, please.
I'll make sure that you pay the advert.
No problem, I'll pay on behalf of as the credit union. As the credit, oh yeah.
I thought you wanted to talk about Tundip. Somebody has voted for Tundip. Cooperative. I did not know that Tundip had won. Why you not remember?
You want me to talk about
No, now you're promoting tribalism and village and villagism or something like that. I'm voting somebody that is strong, and then you're telling my man to dip.
Vanilla is here to give us a trend. By Friday, we are going to read out the name of the credit union with the highest votes across the week on Prime app. So, Vanilla,
good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to the panelists on set, the million televiewers of my Music Prime television out there. Special good evening to you all. As you all know, whenever I am here, it's to talk about the vote of the best credit union in Cameroon. So permit me ask again the question: who do you think is worthy of taking the award for the best credit union in Cameroon? So far, the votes have been coming in. I mean, there's been some progress, but the sad news is that, Mr. Leo, some credit unions have gone behind, and others that were right down have moved to the top and taken their position. So I'm going to really say it's a tough battle. Continue sending in those votes, continue casting those votes, and on Friday we are going to proclaim who the winner is. The first position still goes to Menka Green Valley, which has moved from 90% and is now standing at 95%. Are you challenged? You do not want someone to take that position, so keep casting those votes. The second is Aziri still maintains its position from 60% and is now at 65%. Bafut maintains its position and is still standing at 45%. But now there has been some changes.
They're not
I need to ask a question. Your statistics.
No, please, please.
The arithmetic is
Please, let her do her job. And
you can do it, but that arithmetic.
But what she's saying is that the trends,
yes.
Menka has more votes.
Yes.
Aziri comes second. You say the third is
Bafut.
Bafut comes which is fourth?
The fourth yesterday and the previous days was Aluku, but now Jakiri has taken the fourth position, and the fifth, which was Tarinkun Credit Union, has shifted behind, and Banteng has taken the fifth position.
Okay, thank you very much, and to you too, Doctor. Please, we should not debate on everything. Please,
right.
please.
I'll tell you why.
I'll fix it. I understand. I'll fix it. I
Most
understand.
of your statistics are wrong. After this, we'll discuss it. It's true.
Because you want to put it as
No, not because I want it better.
Doc, please, Doc, the statistics, what she said may not reflect actually, but I am the one receiving the votes. The credit union with the most votes is what she has said. Yes. And second. I know you said 60, 90 something. Please, no, Doc, we are out of time. Please. We must not debate on. Doc, this is not your business, please.
It's not about business.
I know you wish Aziri to win.
No.
Go and tell Aziri to vote more. Thank you for coming, Doc.
It's not about that. On principle.
Doc, thank you.
Students are
no, Doc, please.
When you add all the percentages, it's supposed to come to 100.
Doc,
so you cannot have 95% and 95%. When you add, it's more than 100. Are you getting the point?
Doc, no. Doc, you give the impression to those who are watching that there is some manipulation here. Please, you could still, after the program, explain these things. Because now, once what you have done, I'm sure everything we may stop this, because already people will think that we are playing some games here.
You're not playing games, but
no, Doc, she is your daughter. You could Doc, you could tell her that out of this place. The impression you have given to everybody, because it's something that almost everybody is playing, but the impression you have given out there now is that the statistics is faulty, which
the arithmetic is wrong. Period.
Okay, thank you for coming, Doc.
Good, thank you.
All right, thanks so much for inviting me, Mr. Leo, and I greet all the fans of Noni. Of course, they are the cover of our tradition. I greet all of them, and I greet from Kwanti, Jikutum, the United States of America, of course, who is very interested about the issues of my media prime, and Cameroonians who are preparing for 2025. I say hello, we are together. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all for watching, and keep the votes coming. But what she said, the first position, second, third, that is how the votes have been coming. I personally have been receiving. She may have, maybe she's not a mathematician. Yeah, but you should have told her that after this. Thank you all for watching. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.